Welcome to Monday's Morning. This is Coach Gene Clemens. I am joined by the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt. Emory, thank you for joining me.
Always a pleasure, Gene. Let's talk some ball.
Absolutely. It was a great first week of NFL games, and we're looking forward, obviously, to tonight's game. But looking back on it, one of the things I recognize is that it was a real rough outing for the rookie quarterbacks this week. What do you think? What do you think of their performance? What should we be looking? Should we be overreacting, or should we just kind of pump our brakes a little bit?
I think the truth always lies somewhere in the middle. I mean, if anything, all Trey Lance does is throw touchdowns. So I want to see more Trey Lance out there, right? But all jokes aside, I think you had some good parts and some bad parts you took away from all quarterback performances. Like you like how Trevor Lawrence was able to battle through the adversity, the ups and downs of an NFL game, made some good throws, but had those head-scratching interceptions. The one against cover two is the one that really was egregious because he had the flat guy wide open. Just hit the flat, take the check down, you know what I'm saying, get the profit and move forward. Zach Wilson, you like how he battled back. It fought through. He was getting smacked. You know, looked like Ken O'Brien out there, built like Ken O'Brien anyway, but you like how he didn't give up, fold in the tank. He was still trying to find ways to have success. Then you look at Justin Fields. I just didn't like that whole situation of taking out Dalton to put Fields in for a play and you let him throw. Why not just have him out there and let him throw 30 times a game, you know? And so I just understand the whole move with that. And Mac Jones played efficient. He did some solid things. He moved the offense well, but you know, 16 points. I felt like there was an opportunity if he had the Cam Newton type athleticism to where that could have been a difference in that game against Miami. But you had a good foundation where he could build on. You know, he was firing the football where he needed it to fire it. You want to see how well he can do versus pressure as each game progresses, because I thought that was some issues with him in the preseason when teams turned up the heat, and also this past Sunday with Miami.
Well, and I think that that's the thing that people don't really like take into consideration. Like these guys were doing work versus guys who a lot of them are not even in the league now. And so now they're getting an opportunity to see legitimate defensive players, legitimate defenses from the coordinators. Nobody, I mean, every defensive coordinator in the NFL loves to dial up defenses versus rookie quarterbacks because they know when they don't bring that extra element to the fold, there's an opportunity to get over. And I think Mac Jones, there were a few deep balls I thought he could have taken a chance on and unleashed it. He didn't. It was real Alex Smith, like real check downish. If that's what we're going to get from Mac Jones, I'm worried because are we going to use these weapons that we have, or is everything just going to be a 5 to 10 yard pass? For me, I don't like it all the way they're using Justin Fields. I don't like it. I don't like the way they're using Trey Lance. I think that if you're going to let those guys get out there in real legitimate plays, like during real legitimate time, you just need to go ahead and put them out there in the first place. I don't like the idea of them coming in being gadget guys, because that's the thought process to me that a lot of our young black quarterbacks get. They get labeled as being gadget guys or guys who, oh, well, they can do something else. These guys are not the same as that guy over in New Orleans. Like, so there's no real reason to try to play them as if they are. If you remember, that's how things soured with Justin Fields in Ohio State. They were bringing him in as essentially a gadget guy and not really respecting his ability as a quarterback. So I think that's something that they definitely need to look at in Chicago. And if this is the effort, again, if this was what you're going to get out of Andy Dalton, why is Andy Dalton in there? Like, what are we doing? The future needs to be now. One of the other things that I noticed, man, oh man, these quarterbacks that people told us were not good enough to be quarterbacks were out there cooking on Sunday. I mean, Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns. They'll find a reason to like talk about what he did and what he wasn't. But we saw him out there dealing. And the one thing that I look at, the one thing that I wanna ask you about was the play action when he came up and he launched a deep ball. And even Drew Brees had to admit, man, this is probably something that's been missing from the New Orleans offense over the last few years. What did you think about his play and the play of other guys like Tyrod Taylor and Teddy Bridgewater, and the list goes on and on?
Shout out to Drew Brees for acknowledging that and, you know, poking fun at himself, because that's exactly what was missing from the Saints offense. And again, people always brought up Jameis Winston and wanted to quickly talk about the 30 interceptions, but they never acknowledged the fact that the LASIK surgery he had was crucial because that took away the depth perception issues that he had. Because if you notice that those interceptions, a lot of them was the same type of interceptions. So those linebackers buzzing underneath. You're like, man, how did you not see that linebacker? Or maybe he had problems judging how far the linebacker was from his target. Now that's not the case. He's being much more judicious with the football. The deep ball was back. When you look at that ball of Harris didn't break stride at all. Like he kept running through that reception.
Beautiful.
And if you do a good job on play action, like they were running the football down Green Bay's throat, when the Saints were at their best, when Breeze was at his top, the Saints were running the football always, but that hard play action with Robert Meacham and Devery Henderson going deep down the field, that was money in the bank every week. And so now that is back in the Saints offense. Very impressed what I saw out of Teddy Bridgewater. We know Teddy Bridgewater can play. Quietly, he beat out Sam Darnold when he was with the Jets. He got a raw deal down in Carolina, had three 1,000-yard receivers with the Panthers with no Christian McCaffrey and some questionable play calling. But you saw him with this OOC and Pat Shermer, and that's what you talk about when you're giving someone the keys to the offense. Just manage the game well from a positive perspective, made plays when he had to, didn't make the mistake. And that's all you want from your quarterback. And Tyrod Taylor's the same thing. Made plays when he had to, was spectacular when he had to, but for the most part, kept the offense on pace. And Jaylen Hurst, I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised. You're only surprised about stuff you didn't expect to happen. I expected this to happen, not only for him, but against that opponent. And so I'm excited that he's going out there because people always want to bring up Alabama, but they forget about him being at Alabama, having to go through that adversity, working on this game, getting mop-up duty, improving as a passer, having to save their season. Then, oh, by the way, he went to Oklahoma, became a Heisman finalist, broke some records there, showed the passing that he learned at Alabama, carried over. And we saw him just have that confidence. And when the team comes out and say, no, this dude has that confidence, he has the it factor, that's when you know you got a quarterback. I'm excited for Philadelphia and their fans because, like I've said always, they're going to love a guy like Jaylen Hurts.
Absolutely. Another quarterback that had a great first showing. We didn't really know what to expect from him, but we knew that his pedigree said that he was going to be good. Dak Prescott and what he was able to do to that Buccaneers defense on Thursday night, going out there and throwing the ball 50 plus times, number one, coming off of a really bad leg injury, coming off of what people told us was a shoulder that wasn't 100%. Do you think that is, I mean, to me, it looked like he picked up right where he left off before he got injured. Is this just the Dak that we should expect from here on out? Or was something like that an anomaly?
I think it's a little bit of both. Quiet has kept you didn't see the same zip on some of these passes from Dak. So that's a fair criticism for him. And again, maybe it's because of the shoulder that he had in camp and just trying to get back into, throwing motion and things of that nature. So that's one criticism. But I just feel like that was just the matchup that dictated him throwing the football 50 times. They have three number one wide receivers. Now Gallup is going to be out, but they had some good options in the passing game, good matchups. So, and at worst, hey, we need our number one tailback to be a blocker this week because we won't have the time to throw this football if you're not picking up blitzes. And we damn sure are not going to be able to run the football because we don't have Zach Martin right there to help block Vita Vea. So
he did a fantastic job. I mean, I know you spoke about it on Thursday, but I really want to go back to that because we're talking real football. People acted as if he wasn't around, and I even was a little bit miffed that he wasn't involved more in the passing game as a receiver. But I understood what you were saying when you were like, man, he's out there blocking his butt off. And then when we go back and look at the film, my gosh, I mean, he was launching a couple dudes that were coming in there trying to fly free. He really did a great job and really saved Dak Prescott on many plays where he probably would have gotten hit by a defender.
And if you notice, if the one element of Dak's game that wasn't utilized in that particular matchup because they really didn't have to, and it was probably because it was week one and him just trying to get his feet wet or get his feet underneath him, he didn't run the ball. He ran the ball once. And, when you saw Dak at his best, he was doing both. So I think we're going to see Dak get better as the season moves on because he's going to get more comfortable. He's going to take off a little bit more. He's going to be utilized a little bit more in the run game. But this was just a complete matchup type game for them, and they had the quarterback to do it. They had the personal protector in Zeke to do it, and they had the weapons versus the secondary that was already thin coming in and got even thinner in that ball game to do it. So this was just a cascade of problems for Tampa Bay, or matchups for Tampa Bay, that Dak and the Cowboys were able to exploit.
Now, I'm going to get you out of here on this one because I know that when you look at the end of the game stats, you see, 30 for 51, 270 yards from a Josh Allen. Nobody wanted to talk about regression to the mean for Josh Allen, but everybody seemed to be ready to say that after an MVP season from Lamar Jackson. Well, Josh Allen, who's everyone's told us was an MVP candidate last year, looked like a regression to the mean. What do we expect from him? Was this an anomaly, or is this Josh Allen being Josh Allen again? 30 for 51, 5.3 yards. That's just not going to get it done. Is this what we can expect from him, or maybe somewhere in the middle where he'll be better than he was on Sunday, but maybe not to the level that he was when he was considered to be an MVP candidate last season?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the latter. We look at last year as an anomaly, and just the way he came out, the amount of plays he made throwing the football, that's probably the ceiling. And I think he's going to be more along the lines of what we saw in 2019. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And I feel like people already went overboard and said he was the MVP. He's going to throw 50 plus touchdowns. He still may do this. It was week
Top
1, but at the
five
end of the
quarterback,
exactly top 5
quarterback
elite
in the
already.
league, and yeah,
All that stuff is just premature. And you look at that game yesterday, the pass to Emmanuel Sanders, that would have been the backbreaker for Pittsburgh. And what I saw in that game for Josh Allen, and what I liked about him last year, and I said this numerous times, even tweeted out a couple times, that he was hitting those layups that he was missing as a rookie, that he was missing in his second year. All those layups he was just hitting, and that was just converting it to yards after catch with those receivers that he got. So when he was able to hit those layups, he got into a groove. Then he was able to hit the deep ball down the field. In this game, yesterday against Pittsburgh, that wasn't the case. He was missing some layups, those short throws that were either going high or low, and he was not doing what he did last year to have that same success. He wasn't playing with the same level of calm that he did in 2020. I think that's why we saw the erratic game for him. That was the Josh Allen of 2019 that we saw yesterday against Pittsburgh. He needs to start hitting those free throws, I like to call, hit those easy throws with consistency like he did in 2020. Then he'll be able to hit those throws like he did last year to Emmanuel Sanders in this particular game that we're talking about. He missed those easy throws, and that kind of threw off his entire game.
Absolutely. And again, I just go back to efficiency. You can't throw the ball 50 times and come away with less than 300 yards. That's just, to me, that's ridiculous. That's like running the ball 30 times and having less than 100 yards rushing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You have to be efficient with what you're doing. They were not efficient, which means that you're right. He wasn't hitting those normal balls that he hits to Beasley and to Stephon Diggs. You just saw him not really on, and you keep missing Diggs. Like, Emmanuel Sanders is used to just getting missed. He's used to quarterbacks airballing, easy touchdowns. He's been getting his money took from quarterbacks forever. But you start messing with Stephon Diggs' money, you start missing those balls on Stephon Diggs, he'll start letting you know about it. He's not there for the foolishness. You need to get him the ball, and you can't target him 14, 15 times and only complete 9 balls because 3 or 4 of them aren't anywhere near him. And that's the Josh Allen that we saw in 2018. That's the Josh Allen we thought we were getting rid of into 2019. That's the Josh Allen that was not around in 2020, but in 2021 seems like he's back again. Again, I appreciate it, Emory. That has been the Monday morning. We were looking at quarterbacks this week. Maybe next week we'll check out some other positions. I appreciate your time. Make sure that you check out Emory everywhere that you can check out Emory. At F-Ball Gameplan is where you find him on social media. CBS Sports, the Football Game Plan Network, on YouTube, all of the Game Plus Network stuffs, and then tell us about what you have going on with Next Level Sports.
I'm excited about that, man. And it's 3 hours of small college football content. 9 a.m. we have the small college football kickoff show. 10 a.m. HBCU football kickoff, and 11 a.m. Eastern time FCS college football kickoff show, all on Next Level Sports. That's DirecTV channel 623, Verizon Fios channel 597, and there's on other cable and streaming devices as well. You can check your local provider for channel listening. But we're excited about that, just giving more football to the small college folks out there enjoying that content on the Saturday morning.
Absolutely. And again, I appreciate it. That's been Emory Hunt. And I've been Coach Gene Clemens for Monday Mornings. You can follow me everywhere at Gene Clemens. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Leave a message. It's just something that what do you think about the quarterbacks? Let us know. Until next time, y'all stay easy.